I was so confused when I looked in the Meta Ads Manager for the very first time, but yeah, since then a lot of stuff has changed. We've spent over $250,000 in the last months on Meta, and since then we've generated a 3 to 4x ROAS consistently for our clients. Yes, for one specific client we turned $20,000 in ad spend into $133,000 in cash in less than 1 week, and since then we've scaled over 3 different client portfolios to over 6 figures a month. Since my first look in the Ads Manager until now, a lot of stuff has changed. I've went through a lot of mistakes, I've learned a lot, and I've probably caused mistakes that have cost us more than $300,000 in missed opportunities. Yeah, I'm making this video to help my past self when I was first starting out with Meta ads, when I had no idea, when I was still researching, because on YouTube is no full complete Meta ads guide that shows you actually how to go from zero, okay, how to go from starting a campaign from scratch to actually testing it, scaling it, and then doubling down on the right messaging. Yeah, my friends, before I get right into the roadmap, I just want to make sure we're on the same page, because I'm going to talk a lot about campaigns, about ad sets, about CBO, ABO, all the different stuff that you're going to need to actually scale to some significant amount of Meta. And I just want to guide you through this real quick. So what we have over here, we in Meta, in my ads manager, and as you can see, we've got a campaign. This is like the main container. This is generally where your machine learning sits. Meta has a machine learning, which is the algorithm, okay, at your CBO level. And then each campaign has an ad set. And an ad set is where you generally do your targeting. So as you can see over here, an ad set is where I can select my audience. I can select one in Germany, I can select another one. Generally, what we do, we either do a CBO, which is where we do a campaign budget, okay? And then we do various ad sets. So I'm just gonna duplicate this one out, okay? And then we're gonna let Meta decide which ad set should get the spend based on the ads that are in there. And I can have various ads inside this ad set. Or we do an ABO. What is the difference between ABO and CBO? CBO means Meta controls everything and Meta is gonna decide, we lean on the algo, and ABO is ad set budget, okay? And you wanna make sure you turn this one off. You wanna make sure, as you can see, Advantage Plus turned off. This is so crucial, guys. Like this one thing, just taking that box off can save you literally 20% of your amount of ad spend, okay? And then when I do an ABO, I wanna control my ad spend, okay? ABO gives me more control. This is where you as the media buyer say, okay, I know more than Meta, I want to go with what I think. And I'm doing this a lot of time, to be absolutely honest with you guys. And I can say, okay, here, 200 euros. I can say, okay, here my other spend, here my other spend. And very important thing, when you do audience settings, I want you to just understand this, go and further limit the reach of my ads, turn users as suggestion off, and then you have Advantage Plus off. And this is going to be so crucial because Advantage Plus means Meta is just going to unnecessarily spend money on stuff that you don't want. If I want to target the US, I want to target the US, and I don't want to target India. Okay, now with that being said, guys, let's get right into the roadmap of how to go from 0 to your first 100K on Meta. So yeah, guys, the first thing that you need to understand before you launch your campaign is what funnel will you run? Okay, what's your conversion mechanism? What is your funnel? And what's your financial model? What is your break-even cost per lead or your break-even cost per call? Okay, and how much can you tolerate? Where do you want to set your cost caps? Okay, now with that being said, let's say this here is my financial model. Okay. Now, for a webinar funnel, let's say I'm running a webinar funnel, I want to launch my first campaign, I have some metrics about close rates, about show-up rates in general, and you want to model it out. So in general, we see a webinar show-up rate of something like 30% if you have all the good show-up practices in place, okay? Webinar to booking rate will be something like 15 if it's a good webinar following our best practices. Call show-up rate to your calls, 60, and close rate on the call, something like 20, okay? Then let's say you're selling an offer for $5,000 and your average order value based off all the sales that you've ever made in the past is $4,000. Then you can see, this is so crucial, guys. I want you to pay attention here, okay? This is so crucial. It's like per 1,000 leads, you would get 300 attendees, 45 calls booked, 27 calls, and 5 deals closed, okay? That means your revenue per 1,000 leads is gonna be 21K. So your revenue per lead, and here's where it gets crucial, is gonna be $21.6, okay? That means when your revenue per lead, when one lead gets you $21.6 following this financial model and your metrics, that means to hit a 1x ROAS, so to break even, okay, to break even on your campaign, you need a $21 cost per lead if these metrics are your actual metrics, okay? Now, if you want a 2x ROAS, you need a $10 cost per lead. If you want a 3x ROAS, a $7 cost per lead. On this webinar campaign with your metrics. So let's say if you want a 6x ROAS, let me just get you there real quick, a 6x ROAS, you would need a $3 cost per lead, okay? Now, you generally want to aim for something like, ideally, 2x ROAS, 2.5x ROAS on your first campaign to get some data. So in this case, I would set my cost cap at 1.5 this target cost per lead. So your target cost per lead is going to be $10. I want to set the cost cap at something like $15. If you've got no freaking idea what a cost cap is, no worries, I'm going to show it to you real quick. Okay, and for a call funnel, exact same thing. Call funnel close rate 20%, show rate 60%, landing page booking rate 4%, average order value $4,000. You see, to break even, you need a $480 cost per call, and to hit a 2x ROAS, $240 cost per call. This is your financial model. This is what you want to use for your cost caps and for your meta campaigns. Now let me show you the exact campaign structure that I run right now, how I test, and how I find winning angles. Yes, guys, everything at the beginning is about acquiring data. Okay, so Meta has a bunch of potential people that might be willing to buy your product, okay, but not all of them are ideal. Some of them have no high intent, some of them have no money, and you want to figure out, first of all, this is like your first campaign. You should go into your first campaign with the mindset, I want to lose money on that campaign, but I want to gain some data. Okay, sure, you can be profitable as well, but generally you want to acquire some data, and you want to figure out who your ideal customer pool is and what messaging works for you. Now, you don't need to start from scratch for this. What you want to do is you want to take all your sales calls. Okay, you want to take all your sales calls, all your Typeform recordings, your Typeform records, every single data, even onboarding forms, okay, every single data that you have about your ideal clients, and you want to craft something that we call ideal customer profiles, okay, ICP. And your ICP is basically going to be the person, the one profile, even though it's hard to generalize a lot of people in one profile, but this is going to be the one profile that you want to target with your ads. Now, most of the times, you won't have one ideal customer, okay? You're going to have a bunch of them. So we generally try to make something from 1 to 3 different customer profiles, okay? I want you to think about this. Let's say I'm selling an e-commerce coaching offer. I always go to these examples because everyone knows what e-commerce is. I'm selling an e-commerce coaching offer. My ICP1 could be a corporate professional looking to supplement their income, okay? Then my ICP2 could be someone who's tried to make money online. Make money online, it didn't work. Money online. So other money models, and I want to sell them on why e-commerce is the right one. My ICP3. My ICP2, and this is generally the ICP that I like to go with in my campaigns, is someone who's more in market, who's got some e-commerce experience, but who's struggling with pain points. And then what you want to do, you just want to test. And how do you test? Like based on campaign structures, based on meta. And this is where I've literally figured out the right way of testing for us personally in our campaign, in our agency, that works extremely well. So all you want to do is acquire data about which of these customer profiles is going to be the right one for you. Okay, so you want to figure it out. Maybe it's the in-market profile, maybe it's make money online, or maybe corporate professional. You want to figure out which messaging works the best for you. For me, it's mostly in-market, and I then try to test angles within in-market because I always go in-market up front. But you really need to figure out things here, okay? I've worked with offers who have got a full corporate 9-to-5 messaging and who are making $600K a month. So just to be aware of that, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to do your first campaign, okay? So this is going to be campaign 1. And the main goal of campaign 1 is going to be testing. This is just going to be a testing campaign. All you want to do here in campaign 1 is test. You want to test angles. You want to make sure everything is dialed in. Okay, so campaign 1 is all about testing. Now look, here's exactly how I always structure my campaign 1. So for campaign 1, I generally like to do one ABO, an ABO, ad set budget optimization, okay? And then I like to do something like persona ad sets. This is a media buying strategy where we're going to do an ad set for ICP1, another ad set for ICP2, and another ad set for ICP3, okay? So you're going to do an ABO, and what you want to make sure is that you're spending at least something like $250 a day, depending on the market that you're in, right? So if you're in the Europe or in the US, you want to spend at least $250 a day on these different ICP ad sets. Now, if you don't have that much money ready to invest, you should go with one campaign and slam all your ads in there. Okay, but I generally like to do it like this. And then per ad set, what I like to do, I like to go broad. Okay, so you want to go broad for all of these ad sets. And then per ad set, you're going to have your ad creatives. Okay, and this is where things get interesting. This is where things get advanced and interesting. Because a lot of people say, yo, you need a lot of creative diversity, you need to lean into the algo, you've probably heard about it. And I'm doing this, but I'm doing this per ad set, per persona, because I don't want to confuse the algo. Let's say I'm targeting corporate professionals, okay? Corporate professionals are going to have a completely different Instagram and Facebook browsing history than somebody who's already in market for e-commerce. The guy who's in market for e-commerce has a completely different algorithm built in that's recommending him e-commerce posts. The other one is just an algo looking to make money online, right? So I want to separate these algo types. I don't want to confuse the algo, and I want to make sure I give the algo a clear profile where it can dig in. So one clear idea. So for ICP3, when my ICP2 is in market, the algo knows, okay, I'm going to target people who are in market. For ICP1, people with a corporate job, it will target corporate job people. For ICP3, it will target people who are looking to make money online. Okay, now look. So then per ad set, what I want to do, I want to have something like, yeah, I like to do 15 ads. I don't like to do too many. 15 ads, okay, 15 ads per ad set with this targeting this certain ICP. But these ads then dig into completely different pain points. So this might be pain. The other one might be desire. The other one might be condition. The other one might be urgency. Okay, e-commerce is changing. There's some new regulatory changes. Take action now, window, pain point, and so on. Okay. And then I like to do different formats as well. So there are different formats that get you CPMs down. And one format that we see absolutely crush right now is this kind of green screen format where you have a product behind yourself. This one is really crushing right now in a campaign as I'm recording this video. Green screen ad, where you film yourself in front of a background and you have a product or something behind you for this e-commerce offer. We've got a product behind us. Green screen ads work very well. Yapping style ads work very, very well. We also like iPad ads, so similar to this video here. We like Loom ads, then split screen ads, skit, a lot of different formats. You just want to mix formats. Why do we want to mix formats? Because we want to give Meta as much creative volume as possible here, and you want to mix angles. So pain, desire, condition, urgency, window, pain, but within the ad set, okay? And now, why does the ABO make a lot of sense here? Because I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen when you do a CBO, which everyone else is talking about, okay? So a CBO means, in a CBO, you're going to have one ad set, okay? Ad set. And then you want to do... So one important thing to do when you have one ad set, it's a CBO automatically. Like even you can in Meta you can do one ad set ABO, but it's basically a CBO because the machine learning sits here at the campaign level. Okay, so a lot of people keep talking about, I don't know, like when they have one ad set and they say ABO. No, that's not correct. It's a CBO because the machine learning system sits at the at the campaign level. Okay, ABO only when you want to test a bunch of different ads. Now, if you say, I want to do a CBO, okay, and I want to have one ad set and I want to have 25 to 30 ads in there, targeting different ICPs, okay? So ad 1 might be ICP1, ad 2 might be ICP2, and so on. What's going to happen is the algo is going to lean into one ICP. So let's say only ICP2 is going to get spent, okay? Even though there might have been ICP1 might have been the better one for your actual offer, okay? So you're actually not getting real data back on each of your ICPs. You don't know which one your ideal ICP is when you lean into this campaign. This is only, like, I only do a CBO where I do one ad set with everything when I'm very clear on who I want inside my funnel. When I have one clear messaging and it's just about testing formats and about testing different angles for this ICP, then I want to do a CBO. But when you have a bunch of different ICPs, you don't know which one is converting for you, then you should do an ABO because you're able to separate the algo and to get clear data on each of these ICPs back. Because probably I will figure out after this campaign that a corporate professional, it happens for us all the time, doesn't work for us, that make money online doesn't work, and that my ideal customer is actually ICP2. And then in the following campaigns, I'm going to dig into this messaging. Now, once you've got your winning angle, here's exactly what's gonna happen, okay? So once you've got your winning angle, you then want to test and want to iterate. So let's say my winning angle here is ICP in market. So for this e-commerce example, these are gonna be people who are in market for e-commerce, okay? So ICP2 is the winner. And then for ICP2, let's say I'm gonna have the campaign inside the ad set, prioritize 2 ads. So let's say ad number 1 was something like the angle was where we had a pain angle, and we were digging into the pain of running ads because a lot of people struggle to run ads, profitable ads to their store. This might be winning angle 1. And then winning angle 2 might have been ad number 7, where we had a desired angle, something like hit, I don't know, 20% profit, okay? Which is a more in-market angle. So because a lot of people are starting to hit profit with their stores, and yeah. So this would have been our winning angles over here, okay? And then what I want to do, I want to take these winning angles that are obviously converting, that are getting us a good ROAS. So we want to get the data back per ad. So per ad, based on the UTM, based on the leads that came from these ads, where was our ROAS? And let's say this ad got us a 3.6x ROAS, okay? And the other ad got us a 3.1x ROAS, okay? Now, this is good data to test. And then what I want to do, I want to separate these two ideas. I want to get granular here and separate these two ideas in an ABO. You could do a CBO here and simply slam these two angles together, but I really like to get more detailed here and have one ad set per idea. So what I like to do then is I like to do a campaign, okay? My campaign here. And then, now this is campaign number 2, okay? Campaign number 2 is then niche down, double down on the winners. Okay, campaign number 2, the main goal here is double down on the winners. And then I want to do something like one campaign. I want to have one ABO here, one ad set. This is an ABO, by the way. Wrong, but you get the point. This should be ad sets, okay? 2 ad sets, one campaign, 2 ad sets. And ad set number 1 is going to be ad 1. So the angle of running ads, this main angle of you're starting to run ads for your e-commerce store and so on. And then I want to get granular here. So the winning angle here is ads, running ads. And I want to craft a bunch of different new micro angles here, okay? So micro angles, probably the right words. So something like, okay, angle 1 is your ROAS is tanking. Angle number 2 is, what could it be? Ad stop working after 3 days. This is what I hear a lot of time, ad stop working. Angle number 3 is struggling to find winning ad, right? So basically something that I'm recording this video about could be your angles in your ad if you target someone in e-commerce, okay? Now, this is your main idea per ad set. Then the other ad set gonna have this profit angle. So it could have a testimonial about how the student got their profit from, I don't know, 10% to 20%. It can be 5 steps to get your profit higher. It can be something like biggest mistakes I see people people make who are below 20% in profit, and so on. So I want to have a bunch of different formats, a bunch of different micro angles for these main angles that are winning, and then I want to basically scale them. So once I've got the winners, I want to scale them, put all the spend. I want to take the old winning ads and put them in these ad sets here as well. Okay, you could potentially, if they get you an insane ROAS, like if they, let's say this one got you a 6x ROAS and this one got you a 7x ROAS, I would probably just put them in a new campaign, put them in a separate ad set and just rip the angles itself. We've got ads where we've currently got a 3.1 click-through rate per ad, and this ad has already made us like $150,000, and I just have this one ad and one ad set. And because I don't even want to mix it with winning iterations so that the winning iterations get no spend. But if it's at 3x ROAS, you actually can definitely put these ads together in one ad set with other ads that match this micro angles, because it's just going to have benefits. You're just going to have lower CPMs. You're going to have other ads, other winners in there. And yeah, that's basically campaign number 2. So doubling down on the winners. And then what you want to do is campaign number 3. And let's say I'm getting back my data and I really find out that, let's say the profit angle is actually the real winner here. Then what you want to do is, so profit angle is the real winner. Okay, I'm going to back here. I see, okay, ad set number 2, where we digged into this profit angle, has actually outperformed everything. Then I want to make this angle the main angle in my campaign, and I want to put 80%. I want to do a new campaign number 3. Okay, campaign 3, which is the scaling campaign. Scaling, and I'm gonna have my campaign here. I'm gonna have something like 2 ad sets, ABO. This one is gonna get 80% of the spend. This one is going to get 20% of the spend. This is my testing ad set where I'm just going to test a bunch of different angles. And this one is my winning ad set. And you could even, what you could potentially do is have a winning winner ad set. So you could have something like 3 ABOs, okay? And then you want to put something like, you could do something like 50% on this one and 30% on this one. And this is the one winner. So you one winning ad and you want to make this one winning ad get all the spend, okay? Or you simply put it in the same campaign. This really depends. It really depends if your winner is getting spent within this campaign or if there are other ads that are maybe even better than your winner. But you just gotta find this out. The thing that's gonna save you here is making sure you hit the same angle. So if my angle is profit versus revenue for e-commerce stores or whatsoever, you want to maximize your profit and you want to get more profit out of your revenue, then I want to hit this angle all the time because I know this is a safe angle. It's gonna get me safe ROAS. And if there's one ad that's winning, so let's say one ad that's winning is something like a green screen ad where I have a profit number behind me and the testimonial behind me, then I could either put this winner in a separate campaign and just scale it, or I put it in the same one with iterations of the winner, which will generally lower CPMs and which will generally give you the option to run these angles longer. But again, if in your ABO, in your iteration, where you're going to have a bunch of iterations and the winner as well, if your winner suddenly gets no spend and a weird ad gets spent, which is for any reason attracting low quality leads and leading you for your ROAS to tank, then you want to definitely separate the winner and put it in one ABO. But yeah, that's essentially how you scale. So to summarize really quick, we want to pick our ICP first based on all the data that we have. We want to figure out who our ICP is with this first ABO campaign. Okay, then we want to have different formats. We want to have different angles in here. Then we want to do a winning ABO with 1 or 2 assets, okay, where we're just gonna double down on the winning angle. Okay, we're niching down on the winning angles with generally something like 2 assets, and we want to find our real winner here out of these winning angles. And then we're just scaling. We can either scale with the winner in one asset or with the winning angle in one asset, and we're gonna allocate 20% towards testing because we always want to come up with new angles once the old ones fatigue. And that's essentially how you scale. So long term, you scale with a budget, okay, of, let's say you're spending, I don't know, 50K a week, then you want to allocate 80% of your budget, okay? 80% of your budget towards scaling, this here towards scaling, and 20% of your budget towards testing. And once you see the test ads absolutely outperform your scaling ads because you found another winner there, then you want to make sure you actually make your your testing budget way bigger and double down on that testing angles. Yeah, and that's essentially how you go from 0 to 100K. So start with the financial model, get the technical side of things right, and pick the right ICP, pick the right messaging for your ICP. And this is so crucial, guys, and I really learned this from the hard way because I had none of this guidance here. I had nobody tell me exactly how it works. I just tested. I just tested, spent money, lost money, made more money back, and that's exactly how it works. So if you like what you've seen and you would like me and my business partner to step in and handle the entire ad campaign for you, set up the campaign from scratch, figure out your ICP, write the copy, do it done for you media buying, and not only media buying, but also entire funnel. So do you think we only do media buying? Media buying is the other side. We also do funnels, webinars, VSLs, every single thing that comes to scaling your high-ticket business. Then feel free to reach out to me. growinginfo.com is the link. And Instagram, simon.asman, to book in a free strategy call with me or DM me if you've got any questions. Dropping a lot of free stuff there as well. So if you like what you've seen, feel free to subscribe. Okay, I'd highly appreciate it. And with that being said, guys, take care.